This is a presentation of National Streaming Sports. Over 20 podcasters, 70 weekly shows, and a 3.4-star rating on Roku TV.
I don't know, Jack. It's a big decision.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem with saying space.
Pittsburgh at Buffalo.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought I was right. So anyway,
Yeah, Mac, you're really interested in these playoffs.
so
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good morning. You're listening to the Mac and Jack Sports Show on Northeast Streaming Sports.
And here we go, folks. We're on our start of our weekly shows here on National Streaming Sports. I'm Mac for the Mac and Jack Sports Show. As we start off your day here at Jack is not with us today. He's got some things he got to take care of in his boxing ceremony. He's going to be doing there at the New York State Boxing Association there. He's got a big thing, inductions and all kinds of stuff going on. So he won't be with me this morning. But wow. I mean, what a game. The women's USA team versus France. Right down to the wire. And France made the shot. France made the shot. It was just too short. I mean, this was a chance, a once-in-a-lifetime chance that comes along in the Olympics, right? We all remember what happened in the 1980 Olympics. United States team versus Russia. The Russia had one of the best hockey teams in the world. And the United States knocked them off. This was it. In France. What a game. The United States led by as much as 10 points. France led as much as 10 points over the heavily favored United States team. 67-66. And what a physical game. It reminded me of the 1980s basketball, NBA. I mean, they were bumping each other, their hands in each other's face. France wasn't playing. France had a stifling defense, and the rest would let them get away with it. A lot of short whistles on the United States. It looked like France was getting the home field advantage. And you saw the American men's team and the American France's team all jumping up at every score. I mean, next Olympics, they'll be talking about this. They will. They'll be talking about this. But, as the years fade and the Olympics fade, this will just be another win. But what a treat. France's Gabby Williams, former UConn Husky star, banks a shot in from just inside the three-point range. Her foot crosses over as she lets go of the ball. And it could have tied. It would have went in overtime. The France crowd, of course, is behind them. They're cheering them on. Samson versus Goliath. I mean, if you weren't entertained yesterday by that game, you have no feelings at all. And in both of the emotions of the teams are totally different, right? The United States is like wow, we got out of that one. And France was heartbroken. Great game. I mean, you can't say enough about that game. That was the women's 8th consecutive gold medal. Older team too. I mean, if they lost that game to France, what would have been talked about? Would we have gone all the way back to the beginning and said, "Oh, well, you know, we could have put 2 young kids on this team that are playing really good in the WNBA"? Would that have been a narrative if they lost that in overtime? Might have been, but the women get it. They get the gold. They get it together, and the men, they win the gold also. Steph Curry was like not around for most of the games. I mean, he was like averaging 7 points per game, and he saves it for the last 2, making shots that it looks, when you watch him, it looks like he's just putting it up from anywhere and praying. And you know that's not true. The guy can hit for half court, but he comes through in the last 2 games. And the celebration he had, it's good to see there is still some patriotism out there, right? I mean, listen, I'm a vet, and I'm still patriotic to a point. I mean, we got our problems with our country. Everybody does. But when it comes down to it, this is all about the United States beating, again, France, right? Which has an unbelievable basketball program over there, as you saw. This is not a fluke, folks. France has a good basketball program. There are 4 or 5 France players in the first round of the draft this year in the NBA. So they got something going on there. Victor Wembanyama. I mean, there he is. There's our new star playing for France. Can they do it? No, Curry said no. Curry just said no. It's not happening. 24 points. All 3-pointers. U.S. wins 98-87. That's their 5th consecutive gold medal. Kevin Durant wins his 4th gold medal. It's I think the most in Olympic history. LeBron James again passing the ball, rebounding, doing what he had to do to win. LeBron was more of a facilitator, playing point guard most of the time. And he gets his I'm trying to get let me get it. He got his 3rd gold medal, 4th medal in his time playing the Olympics. But it wasn't in doubt. It wasn't like the women's. The women's was in doubt. I mean, I don't watch WNBA that much. I'm going to admit it. I mean, there's interest here and there. I'll see highlights there and there. But I watched that game. I watched the end of that game. That was very exciting. It was a great win. And we kept racking up the goals, right? The United States soccer team. New coach, new players. They win the gold over Brazil, 1-0. Swanson scores. It's their 1st gold medal since 2012. And we think about the U.S. women's soccer team as dominating, for a while. The world. It's been a while. And as me and Jack talked about before, there's kind of a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths about the way the U.S. women's soccer team acted when they won, right? Or acted after the games were over and they won the protests of the United States. There's a lot of bad taste in the mouth. Well, this young team, they were made of metal, man. They did what they had to do to win. Goalkeeper Elisa Nair with a one-handed save near the end of the game. Big play by her. So the women's USA team wins a gold over the weekend. U.S. men's 4x400 wins their gold. Shamir Little, Bryce Redmond, Chris Bailey, Vernon Norwood. Women's 4x400 meter relay, gold medal. Shamir Little, Sydney McLaughlin, Levron, Gabby Thomas, Alex Holmes. Exciting finishes to some of these relay races. A new record for the men. And the medal count ended up with the United States with 40 gold and China 40 gold. United States taking in most of the medals. They had the lead of overall medals where they had 126. Important to note, Russia wasn't in it this year. Russia was not in there. Belarus wasn't in there because of the invasion of Ukraine. And in the past, we've seen teams banned or teams not playing because of the political things going on. I remember the United States didn't go because the Afghan war, Russia was with the Afghan war over there in Afghanistan. And of course, we ended up going to war in Afghanistan too. So, I mean, listen, what the country's decisions make, it's a shame for the athletes, right? Because nobody agrees with Russia invading Ukraine. But those athletes that have been working 4 years to go to the Olympics, they're the ones that get screwed. And if you look at it, I know the war is a lot more, a lot more intense. It's a lot bigger of a deal. But it's too bad it's political, right? And it's too bad that a country has to either be banned or doesn't go, because it's once every 4 years. And these athletes may not get a chance to go again. A couple stories on the side. Tatum with the Celtics, he only got to play for the men's basketball team. Is that something that we should be worried about? Is that something that should be talked about? I mean, he made the team. He did play. He just didn't play as much as the other athletes, the other basketball team players on the men's team. Is that something we should be concerned about? I don't know. I guess if you're a Celtics fan, you might be. There might be some hard feelings there. Another side story, American gymnast Jordan Childs. Right? They're stripping her of her bronze medal because of a scoring error, or there was some kind of protest that was verbally, that wasn't within the 4-minute time frame, and the score went from 13.766 to 13.666. I read the article. I still don't know what the hell happened. I still don't know if she's got to give the medal back or not. These are little politic things that happen. The degree of difficulty score was too high. The United States says it wasn't too high. And of course, the gymnast Barbosa, who won gold in, I think it was a floor exercise, if I'm not mistaken. She could have got a bronze, but didn't get it because Childs got it. And I still don't understand whether Childs has to return the medal or not. I think she's home with the medal, as far as what I understand. And the United States is appealing, and Romania is going behind Barbosa, and Nadi Comaneci is involved, but that's royalty over there in Romania. So there's always stories that come out, the boxing with whether the boxer was a male or a female, and there's death threats, and there's discrimination. There's all this stuff. But I like looking at the sports as a competition. What happened? And we had some great competitions yesterday. So to finish out the weekend. And it's once every 4 years. So even all the people that said, "Hey, I don't know, I don't watch Olympics anymore," all my compadres here at National Streaming Sports, guess what? They were watching it. So say what you want, they definitely were watching the events as they unfolded. So congratulations, United States, for being leader in medals, total medals, and tied with China with 40 gold. So that's it for the Olympics. It's over. Tom Cruise flies in Mission Impossible. I guess this is maybe, I don't know, maybe it's for one of his movies or something. With the flag, hands it to Simone Biles and takes his motorcycle and takes off. So that's passing on, I guess, the passing of the flag for the Olympics coming to Los Angeles next time. So we're going to have it back in the United States in 4 years. There's talk Simone Biles may participate again. See what happens. Should be interesting. So Major League Baseball, of course, it's all about stats. Everybody in Major League Baseball is concerned about stats, what the stats are. It's almost as important as winning, if you think about it. I mean, we are Major League Baseball home runs, on-base percentages, stolen bases, RBIs, WAR, whatever. I mean, there's so many stats out there right now, I can't keep up with them all. Aaron Judge hits his 42nd home run. He's a little behind what he was the previous year. He's on track for 55. Now, that doesn't mean he won't break 62. That just means he has to get really hot during the span and make a tear to catch back up to where he was. So in the game, he hits his 42nd. He goes 3 for 3. Batting over 300. So the Yankees win in a slugfest. They end up winning the game. Judge is also the fastest, will be the fastest to 300 home runs for amount of games played. Now, Judge was hurt. He got in the major leagues later than a lot of players do. But he could be the fastest to get to 300 home runs with the least amount of games. Yankees win. It's a dogfight between them and Baltimore right now, as far as the standings go. I'll give you them really quick. Baltimore, New York, they're fighting for first place. They both, they have over the last 10 games, they're like 6-4, 7-3. You got Boston behind them, Tampa Bay hovering around 500, and that's in the American League East. In the Central, Cleveland falling off a little bit. And they always seem to do that. The Guardians, I always want to call them the Indians. The Guardians kind of fall off during the end of the year. I don't know if they're going to fall off to the point they have in the past, but they're kind of falling off. They're still in first by 2.5 over Minnesota, 3 over the Royals. And who thought Kansas City would be in the wild card chase at this time of the year? I don't think any baseball predictor would say Kansas City was right on the heels of first place. 3 games out, still plenty of time left. West Houston and Seattle fighting for first place. Seattle with a slugfest. I mean, Seattle, wow. They trounced them at 12-1 last night. In the NL, Philadelphia, they're still in control with 69 wins. The Mets and the Braves in the fight for second. As I said, Mets got beat up pretty bad. In the Central, Milwaukee's up by 8 over the Cardinals. And the Brewers are another team. I mean, they got a lot of offense. And they have a chance this year. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Brewers make a run at it. It seems like every year we say something like that for some team. The Dodgers, I think they won last night, but they've been on the slide a little bit. You got San Diego and Arizona in striking distance right now. Arizona with a big rally after the 8th inning to beat the Phillies. Arizona surprised everybody last year going to the World Series, and they still got a shot. They're in the wild card hunt. The Rangers, on the other hand, they look like they might be out of it this year. our last year's World Series champions. Let's see. So Houston, they handed Boston a 10-2 loss. Astros are still up there battling with Seattle. Now, I'm not going to go over all the games because we went over them on the big show yesterday. If you want to check out the big show, it's on YouTube. That's where we keep our former films. Great. It's a great show, the Big Football Show. We cover everything. But there were 2 games yesterday later on. And Denver beats Indianapolis. And it was an enjoyable game for a preseason game, 34-30. Most of you know that follow our show on Roku or on YouTube or Twitter. You know I'm very high on Bo Nix. I think I said in the beginning of the year I thought Bo Nix may be the best quarterback in the draft. And there's a lot of reasons I thought that. Accuracy, mature. And you can't teach accuracy. Joe Montana, great Joe Montana, says you can teach technique. You can teach, the proper way to throw. You can show them drills. You can't teach accuracy. You either have it or you don't. Bo Nix has that. Bo Nix went 15 for 21, 125 yards and a touchdown. Now, there were a lot of good showing by rookies over the weekend. Caleb Williams looked pretty good, right? 9 for 15, I think was his stats. Jaden Daniels only played three plays, but he ran for a touchdown. He made a pretty good throw downfield. 3 plays isn't a lot to take in, right? I mean, you can't really make a judgment on 3 plays. J.J. McCarthy threw for a couple touchdowns, I think, in 1 interception. And it's preseason. We understand that. We're just looking at how they made out. I mean, the throw that J.J. McCarthy made to the wide receiver, I mean, he was so wide open. I think the defender pulled his hamstring. There was no safety involved. So the defenses are pretty bland in the exhibition season, right? I mean, they're just guys trying to make the team. And they don't really blitz. I mean, they do blitz once in a while. They try it out. The coverages, they're not rolling coverages and playing zone underneath the man on top and cover 3. They're not doing all that. They're pretty much playing straight up, either man or zone. And some of these quarterbacks look pretty good. And I've been kind of hard on these young quarterbacks, like Caleb Williams. I don't know if he's going to be a franchise quarterback. I don't know. I have a lot of confidence Jaden Daniels will be very good. I don't know about J.J. McCarthy because he comes from a running football team. I mean, we'll see. They all may surprise me. But I've always had confidence in Bo Nix. And whether Sean Payton admits it or not, he started. That's going to happen. I mean, he's got Stidman and Zach Wilson as his competition. Come on. Another game. The Dallas Cowboys play the Los Angeles Rams. And Dak didn't play. And, of course, CD didn't play. He's still kind of holding out and not there. And Micah Parsons. It's all contract talk about the Dallas Cowboys, right? The Rams ended up beating them. I think it was 16-13. Let me get to my stats here. 13-12. The Rams beat Cowboys. The Rams, Bennett, he had 224 yards, 1 TD, and I think that was at the end of the game. I really didn't watch that game that much last night. I'm not a big Cowboy or Ram fan. And, of course, I watched part of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. Of course, they start Trey Lance, and the talk is about Trey Lance. He didn't have a chance to play football. It was during COVID. I didn't play much in college or high school, and what's going to happen to Trey Lance? Every year this comes around, what's going to happen to Trey Lance? And it's not Trey Lance's fault. It's the 49ers were drafting him 3rd overall in their draft, right? I mean, I don't know I don't know what they were thinking about during that draft. I really don't. I think they thought they were smarter than the room, right? We've got this guy that's a heck of an athlete, and he's a sneaky pick at number 3, and they made a lot of different moves to get Trey Lance. And he hasn't panned out. He hasn't had a chance to play, to be honest, to be fair. But this is where he gets a chance to play. This is why exhibition day games are important for players like Trey Lance. Otherwise, he'll never play. Second, third string, I think he's been. I don't even think he's been second string, and he's got Cooper Rush in front of him. And with Cooper Rush in front of him, you saw what happened when Dak went out. Cooper took over, held Dallas, kept him in the race. He did what he had to do. He's a very good second string quarterback. So Trey Lance would have to do something, I don't want to say phenomenal, but he would have to beat out Cooper Rush in every phase of practice. During exhibition games. I mean, it's a tall order. Cooper Rush has been around for a while. The teams do keep three quarterbacks. We remember what happened with Brock Purdy during the championship game with the Eagles. So they're allowed to keep three quarterbacks. It doesn't count against the team, so that you don't have the running back playing quarterback, during a championship game. So anyway, Trey Lance says, I'm not sure what's going to happen with Trey Lance. I don't think anybody really knows. And you want to root for the kid, right? You want to root for somebody to make it against all odds. I think these odds are way too high for him. I don't know. I mean, if you look at his numbers alone, if you look at Trey Lance's numbers alone, let's see if I got him. 24 for 41, 188 yards. So he's not even completing 10 yards per pass. Let's see. And of course, he rushed for 44 yards leading the Cowboys. He's an athlete. I don't know if he would consider changing positions, maybe being a running back or wide receiver, defensive back, to maybe get a shot at starting. But I mean, if you want to play the game and you want to get in somehow, maybe you take a different route, right? And it's a lot to ask somebody to give up what their dream is, right? They want to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Hey, you can be a wide receiver, you can be a running back or a defensive back. That's hard for somebody to do. Jerry Jones clarifies the no urgency comment about CeeDee Lamb. And Jerry Jones just talks. I don't know why people seem surprised about what comes out of his mouth. And he is getting older now. Yeah, I'm getting older. I know some things come out I don't believe I said. A minute later, I'm like, did I just say that? I think Jerry Jones is at that point too, right? There's no sense of urgency about CeeDee Lamb. And, of course, CeeDee Lamb comes out on Twitter and laugh out loud, takes his stuff off X, all this stuff. Jerry Jones says, I meant because he's not playing right now. He's not going to be playing in the playoffs. Makes sense. He just didn't continue and finish the sentence, They're going to sign CeeDee Lamb. There's no doubt about that. Come on, guys. Anybody that thinks they're not signing CeeDee Lamb is not all there. They got to sign CeeDee Lamb. What else they got? Right? That's what we say. What else they got? I imagine CeeDee Lamb by the first game will be signed. There's no doubt in my mind about that. Chiefs wide receiver Marcus Brown taken to the hospital with separated shoulder. Depends on how it got dislocated, right? I mean, I've had a dislocated shoulder and popped it back in. Hurts like hell. But you can do it. And you got to build the muscle around it. In fact, I have a dislocated shoulder today. Now, what happened to my second time I got it dislocated was my tendons were ruptured. So you have to either have it operated on or you leave it alone. The operation could leave you limited in your motion in your shoulder. So I chose not to have it operated on, and it's still right up there. It's still there. But I built the muscle up around it. The ligaments are okay now. I got movement. And it depends, And they just got Brown, right? They just got downtown Hollywood Brown on their team, and this is supposed to be a weapon for Patrick Mahomes. And depending on how long he's out, how long or how much he misses it, or if he needs an operation, we'll see what happens. That's right. Patrick Mahomes doesn't need any weapons, right, guys? Put an offensive guard out there at split end, they probably throw for a first down. Boxing news. We got some boxing news. And, Jack is normally here to do the boxing news because right off the top of his head, he's not here today. So I'll give you the boxing news. I have Turki Ala Ishik calls the Ortiz Bahachuk fight a draw and wants a rematch before the Crawford fight. Who is Turki Ala Sheikh? Saudi Arabia guy, a lot of money, that's making a lot of fights. And I said to Jack, I asked Jack, I said, how much influence will Saudi Arabia have on boxing? And Jack said, well, they got a lot of money, right? They got the money. They're going to be able to make fights that can't be made over here because of the promoters and the different sanctioning bodies. They're not going to be able to offer the amount of money that these fighters want to fight each other. And that's why we don't have the biggest fights. Well, Saudi Arabia can do this. They're going to pay you the money. The guy over there loves boxing. But with that comes influence, right? Whoever won this fight was scheduled to fight Crawford. Now the head honcho over there says, I think it was a draw. I think they should fight again. Is he the unofficial commissioner of boxing now? You got to watch Glove Fist tonight. Glove Fist with Frank Lotierzo, our boxing show on Monday night. You got to watch that. Because they have the answers. I produced the show, and I'm going to ask him, with that influence now, does he set the fights? This Top Rank and Golden Boy and Star Promotions and all these other agencies and promoters, are they going to have to answer to him now? He says there was a clause where they have to have a rematch. So the rematch he thinks will be a good fight, will make a lot of money, and then the winner of that will fight Crawford. The only problem with that is if the guy who lost the fight wins, then it's tied. So then we do that. What do we do? We'd have a third fight, right? You have to have a rematch. I mean, I would imagine, to be fair, I don't know. I think Saudi Arabia will be taking over boxing here pretty soon. Any other fight news? Let's see. Angelo Leo KO's Vendo Lopez, main event IBF featherweight championship. Lopez had a slight lead in the late rounds. But Leo lands the left hook and dance is over. Fight's over. I mean, the thing about boxing, unlike any other sport, right? They call it a puncher's chance. And you could be winning 8, 9, 10 rounds, gets to the 11th, the 12th. Guy catches you, it's over. I don't care if the scorecard means nothing at the end of the nothing. Heavyweight contender Martin Bokole welcomed home. I'm going to say Bokole, but it could be Bokole, Bakole. Welcome home as a hero. His fans in the Republic of Congo after defeating Jared Anderson by a 5th-round knockout. Bakole made easy work of the previously unbeaten Jared, dropping him 3 times before the contest was stopped in the 5th round. And South American boxing is still huge. Mexico, Puerto Rico, South America, it's huge. Sort of like it was in the United States years and years ago, right? Before football got big. Basically, boxing, baseball, like soccer too, but boxing is huge down south. South America, Central America, Mexico, huge. And good, hey, listen, good for him. Good for him. Maybe he gets a shot at a title. Maybe he does. Maybe he becomes popular like the Durans and the other famous Hispanic boxers. I don't know. I really haven't followed this guy, but I just know the welcoming that you get in certain countries, right? They're 100% behind this guy, which is great. So, of course, when I'm by myself, I have no one to bounce my ideas off of. You know, I bounce one idea off Jack. It goes on and on. But before I leave you today, and that'll probably be it for the sports update. Listen, if you haven't got on Roku yet and looked at National Streaming Sports, I don't know what else I can do to get you to do this, because this is a great channel, folks. It's a great channel. 70 weekly shows. This is one of them, of course. So if you still don't know how to get on, if you're not sure, here you go. To get National Streaming Sports on Roku TV, channel search National Streaming Sports, tap on our logo. On laptop, tablet, or mobile phone, download the free Roku app, channel search, tap on our logo. For smart TV, order the Roku device from the Roku store, hook it up to your TV, channel search National Streaming Sports, and tap on the logo. After adding the channel, this is our Roku National Streaming Sports site. You can click on the live stream to see what is playing currently, or go to the VOD category and check out the Roku weekly schedule. And if you click on it, you'll see all the shows scheduled for that day. Yes, you will. And you'll see great shows. Coming up at 9 o'clock, we have Coffee and Sports, one of the better morning shows on our Roku channel. Sports all day, folks. Thanks for coming in and spending some time with me. And, as we get closer to the NFL regular season, the big show gets bigger and bigger. And don't forget, tonight, Glove Fists, Frank Lotierza will have a special guest on 7 p.m. Eastern on Roku TV and YouTube, and also start spreading the news. Our Great Yankee Show will be on our Roku channel and also on YouTube. Have a great Monday, folks. Me and Jack will be back live Wednesday. We'll see you soon.